Stuck over 20% body fat and can't get that lean look? Well, it's probably not your workout routine or your meal plan that's the problem. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 brutal lessons that finally stops me from quitting and helps me get all the way down to 10% body fat, with help from some of YouTube's best fitness minds. So you can also get lean without the gym bro routine. Here's a big lesson from Jeff Nippard on what not to do when going all in on a new workout routine.
This is how much fat I gained from bulking for 6 months straight. And this is how much lean mass I gained.
So, is that a 6-month trade-off that you would make? 11 pounds of fat for 4.5 pounds of muscle? Or are you in the camp of lean gains, where you want to lose fat and build muscle at the same time? Because even Jeff admits,
I do think I made a mistake though. Studies show that when you bulk in a big caloric surplus, you gain way more fat than muscle. And while it was fun eating all that food, I suspect that if I'd trained just as hard while eating in a smaller caloric surplus, I wouldn't have had to cut for so long to get rid of all the extra fat.
and this is where we're all better off learning from other people's mistakes and the data. Because this 2020 study from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning found that even trained lifters can still build muscle without bulking as long as protein stays high and training intensity is dialed in. But this is not what people want to hear, because it takes away the fun of eating tons of food and just feeling bigger. So instead, online, everyone pretends it's just this clean little equation like this. Bulk for 12 weeks, gain 20 pounds, of which 10 pounds is muscle. Then you cut for 12 weeks and you lose 10 pounds, which is all fat. Boom, done. Except that is not what happens, is it? Jeff, he gained 11 pounds of fat and 4.5 pounds of muscle. And after cutting down, he was left with just 2.5 pounds of muscle. Nearly half of it gone just to strip the fat off. And even though Jeff is advanced and he's near his genetic ceiling, he probably could have gained that same 2.5 pounds of muscle over 6 months without the 11 pounds of fat gain. This bulk and cut fat gain and muscle loss cycle right here, this is why most guys stay stuck between that 15 to 20% body fat forever. If you're over 10% body fat and you're not near your genetic potential, you don't need to bulk to gain muscle. So this lesson to focus on building muscle and losing fat at the same time, super valuable and obviously in the undeniable winner tier. By the way, I'm Tim. I'm a personal trainer and food scientist in Austin, Texas, and all I do every day is help guys get lean without that gym bro BS. So if you want more content like this, then go ahead and subscribe. Now, we've got Buff Dude Hudson, and he's telling his wife the exact thing I remember telling every single one of my personal training clients.
Ready to hit some arms?
I don't want to do your workout. I don't want to get all big.
That's not the way it works. Trust me.
I don't know what it is, but people seem to think they'll touch a dumbbell for the first time and have to back off because they're growing just too much muscle too fast. Yeah, like uncontrollable gains are the problem.
That was not supposed to happen, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, if you're Ronnie Coleman or Arnie maybe, but they are hinting at a truth that most people do not want to hear. The absolute genetic maximum for a lifetime of training is around 40 to 50 pounds of lean muscle. And even if you've got top tier muscle gaining genetics, the natural muscle gain curve, it looks like this. Year 1, 20 to 25 pounds. Year 2, 10 to 12 pounds. And year 3, 5 to 6 pounds. And after that, tiny gains, even if you've got everything dialed in. But here's the real takeaway from this. Fat loss is fast. Muscle gain, slow. So if you're going to cut down to 10% body fat, you need to expect a big shift in how you look and how you feel. You will feel much smaller and your current clothes will hang off you. And people may make these passive aggressive comments like, are you on Ozempic? Or are you sure you're not losing muscle? And that's where I've seen lots of clients self-sabotage. They panic because they feel small. So get fitted clothes, show off your newer, leaner physique, and know that one dumb comment derails 6 months of momentum. If you're aiming for 10% body fat, you better be ready to look like a smaller human. So this lesson to set realistic expectations, it goes straight into the strong contender tier. Now, we've got Luca, and he puts getting shredded down to one key point.
When you're on a diet and you're trying to get lean, it's not just the amount of calories you're eating that matters. It's your food selection that will allow you to stick to your calorie goal.
And he's right. Everyone yells calories in, calories out like it's the whole story, but once you're in a deficit, you've got very little wiggle room because every single calorie needs a job. Is this calorie helping you stay full? Is this calorie loaded with nutrients? Or is this calorie stopping you from losing your mind and binging at 10 p.m? So what's Luca's approach?
Here are 10 foods that I ate pretty much every single day on my cup that allowed me to get to my leanest ever body fat percentage in the lead up to my first ever bodybuilding show.
And here they are on screen. So the theme's obvious: high volume, lean protein, ultra low calorie. I mean, even his oats, they're reheated with more and more water to stretch out that volume. I totally get it, respect the strategy. But let's be honest, unless you're a 21-year-old student with no meetings, no responsibilities, and no taste buds, you're not surviving on cold spinach and egg whites out of a Tupperware. That list, it might get you shredded, but eventually you'll start skipping meals and then you'll start binging at night. So instead of following a restrictive food list, use techniques that satisfy your edge without blowing that deficit. 1. Use protein-anchored sweet treats. So add some cocoa powder, stevia, and frozen berries to that Greek yogurt to make it a high-protein dessert that actually hits that sweet spot. Or 2. Make indulgent food mimics. Like this protein waffle with 30 grams of protein and only 200 calories versus a standard waffle that comes in at 300 calories with only 6 grams of protein. Or 3. Micro food rewards throughout the day. So you're not ending the day in perfectionist meltdown mode, binging on whatever you can find. Getting your food right is the critical piece, which is why these zero flavor egg white and spinach lists, they go straight into that Gym Bro noise tier. So let's spin that wheel of Gym Bro justice. Boom! Get out of here, Luca, and take your egg whites with you. Now, we've got Joe Fazer, and he's been doing some real food science.
But how accurate actually are these calorie labels?
Flew to Ireland and met these guys, some incredibly intelligent food scientists, and they had access to this.
This is the machine then?
This is the bomb.
A calorimeter.
Alright, let me nerd out for a second because this takes me straight back to my food scientist days. That machine you're looking at, that's a bomb calorimeter. Basically, you shove food inside of it, you light it on fire, and then you measure the heat that it gives off. And that's how we determine the actual caloric value of food. So, now the real question. Can we actually trust food labels? Let's take Joe's test on a high-protein yogurt.
Now, on their nutrition label, it claims to only have 166 calories in, but after testing, it came back at 212 calories. That's over 20% more than what they claimed. But what makes this even worse, we also tested the protein in the yogurt, and as you can see plastered on the front of the packaging, it says 25 grams of protein per pack. Well, the results came back at only 21 grams.
That's 46 extra calories, which is 27.7% more than the label said, and 16% less protein. But let's zoom out, because what do the fitness people always say? Just eat in a 500 calorie deficit and you'll lose fat. So if you're eating 2,000 calories a day and every food is 27% off, you're actually eating 2,554 calories. So that's not a 500 calorie deficit anymore, that's maintenance. And if your protein's off by 16% too, you think you're getting 180 grams of protein per day, but it's more like 150 grams. And that's the difference between recomping, so building muscle and losing fat, versus spinning your wheels, looking soft, flat, and frustrated after 12 weeks of hard training. Food labels, they're a rough guide, they are not gospel. You have to triangulate your progress using the mirror, the scale, your workout gym performance, and most importantly, progress photos. And that's exactly why this has to go straight into the use with caution tier. And if you're enjoying the video and you want to help me out, drop me a comment, as this is the best way to help me grow. Appreciated. Everyone's out here chasing that perfect combination of supplements, meal timing, and workouts, as if success only happens when you plug in the exact cheat code. But the truth, most people, they don't fail because their plan is wrong. They fail because one day they screwed up and multiplied everything by 0. Let's say you're cruising along, workouts are dialed in, food is being tracked, supplements are stacked, but then you get busy, or you have a meal out, or you get sick, or you pick up an injury, or you just simply miss a workout. Then instead of adapting to that change in circumstance, you say, I'll start again on Monday. And boom, everything collapses because now you've pressed pause. And that is that all or nothing mindset, which always leads straight back to square one. Getting lean never goes 100% to plan every single day, but you cannot press pause. You need to adapt to the plan instead. You will not fail because of one missed session or takeout meal. You will fail when that one moment turns into a string of zeros, because that's when it becomes 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And suddenly you're stuck in 15 to 20% body fat purgatory forever. Never let one mishap multiply your progress by 0. So constantly optimizing your plan instead of adapting as you go, that lands straight into the hit or miss tier.